Something goes bump in the night. A door slams. A phone rings when the room was dead silent. And in that split second, you feel it, a strange flutter inside your chest, like your heart just stumbled, missed a step, and then came back harder than before, like it was trying to make up for lost time. You've probably felt this dozens of times in your life, and never thought to ask, what is actually happening inside your chest in that one terrifying moment? Because the answer, it turns out, is far stranger and far more fascinating than just being scared. Here's what most people assume: that when you're startled, your heart skips a beat, literally pauses, misses a beat, goes quiet for a moment like a record scratch. But here's the thing: that's not actually what's happening. Your heart doesn't skip anything. In fact, it does the opposite. It adds something. And that small misunderstanding changes everything about how we should think about the way our hearts respond to fear. To understand this, you need to know one thing about your heart. It runs on electricity. Every single beat is triggered by a precise electrical signal, starting at the top of the heart and sweeping downward through the chambers in a coordinated wave. It's a system so reliable that your heart will beat more than 100,000 times today without you thinking about it once. But that electrical system, it's not isolated. It's plugged directly into your nervous system. The moment something startles you, a sudden loud noise, an unexpected touch, a face appearing where you didn't expect one, your brain doesn't wait to think. It reacts. In milliseconds, it fires off an emergency signal through a network called the sympathetic nervous system. This is the fight-or-flight system, and it's ancient. It evolved long before we had cars or alarm clocks or horror movies, back when a sudden noise in the dark usually meant something was about to eat you. The moment that fight-or-flight signal fires, your adrenal glands release a rush of stress hormones, most importantly, adrenaline, also known as epinephrine. This is the chemical that makes everything feel suddenly urgent. Your pupils dilate, your muscles tense, your breathing quickens, and your heart receives a direct chemical message to speed up, to prepare to pump harder and faster, so your muscles can run or fight. Adrenaline essentially grabs your heart by the collar and tells it to go. And here's where it gets interesting. Adrenaline doesn't just speed up the heart, it can also destabilize it. That chemical jolt can trigger something called a premature ventricular contraction, or a PVC. Sometimes it triggers what's called a premature atrial contraction, or PAC. These are extra heartbeats, electrical misfires that happen just a fraction of a second before the heart was supposed to beat normally. Not a missed beat, an extra one, arriving too early. Think of your heart's normal rhythm like a perfectly timed metronome. Now imagine someone flicks the pendulum just a little too early. The beat happens out of sequence, and then the whole system has to pause, reset, and find the rhythm again. That pause is real, and it's the key to understanding everything you feel in your chest during that moment of fright. After that premature beat fires too early, the heart needs to reset. So it pauses, just slightly longer than normal, before the next beat. And during that pause, something remarkable happens. The heart's chamber sits still for just a hair longer than usual, and blood keeps flowing in. More blood fills the ventricles than would normally be there. So when the next beat finally comes, and it does come, it finds a fuller chamber waiting, and it has to push all of that extra blood out at once. That beat is stronger, noticeably stronger. Sometimes you can actually feel it from the outside. It's that powerful thump, almost like your heart is restarting with authority. And that sequence, the premature beat, the pause, the forceful follow-up, is exactly what your brain interprets as a skipped beat. You feel the flutter of the early beat, then the absence, then the boom, and your brain fills in the story. Something went wrong. Here's the thing that makes cardiologists smile when they explain this. The skipped beat you feel is actually the compensatory pause, that brief reset window. You don't feel the premature beat as a beat at all. It's too weak, too early. The heart wasn't full yet, so it didn't pump much. The pause feels like silence. And then the big beat breaks that silence. Your brain hears pause, boom, and concludes, my heart just skipped a beat. But the truth is, your heart was working overtime. Now, here's the mid-story twist, and it genuinely changes how you might think about anxiety and the body. You might assume this only happens when something external startles you, a noise, a scare, a close call. But it turns out you don't need anything from the outside world at all. Emotional stress and anxiety alone, purely internal states, generated entirely inside your own mind, are some of the most common triggers for these premature beats. Think about a time you were dreading something, a difficult conversation, an important result coming in, a presentation in front of people. Your heart didn't wait for anything to happen. It was already reacting to a threat that existed only in your imagination, because to your nervous system, an imagined threat and a real one feel almost identical. Adrenaline flows, the fight-or-flight system activates, and those premature beats can start even before a single alarming thing has occurred in the real world. And this is where it gets genuinely strange and a little unsettling. The relationship between anxiety and these extra heartbeats runs in both directions. Anxiety can trigger the palpitations, but feeling those palpitations can make your anxiety worse, which can cause more premature beats, which deepens the anxiety. It's a feedback loop built into your own biology. Your heart and your mind can essentially spook each other in an endless cycle, each one reacting to the other. This loop explains something you've probably noticed without ever connecting the dots. In genuinely high-stakes moments, a job interview, meeting someone important, stepping onto a stage, your heart can feel strange even when you're perfectly still. No loud noise, no sudden movement, just pure anticipatory dread, and your body is already in emergency mode, already releasing the hormones, already creating the conditions for those small electrical misfires. Now, should you be worried when this happens? For most people, isolated premature beats during a moment of stress or startle are harmless. They are incredibly common. Johns Hopkins Medicine and other major medical institutions describe palpitations as something nearly everyone experiences at some point. For the vast majority of healthy people, the occasional skip beat sensation is simply your body's ancient alarm system doing its job. Clumsily, but doing it. Because here's the bigger picture, and this is the part worth sitting with. That stumbling, lurching sensation in your chest, it's the echo of millions of years of evolution. Your ancestors who reacted fastest to sudden threats, whose bodies flooded with adrenaline, whose hearts ramped up in a fraction of a second. Those are the ones who survived. The startle response, the extra heartbeat, the pounding follow-up, all of it is a survival machine running at full speed. You're not broken. You're exactly what evolution built. So the next time it happens, the sudden slam, the unexpected ring, the moment where the world catches you off guard and your chest does that strange, unsettling lurch, you'll know exactly what's unfolding inside you. Your brain fired an alarm. Your nervous system flooded your body with chemistry. Your heart added a beat it wasn't supposed to. Then it paused, filled up, and came back with everything it had. All of that happened in less time than it takes to blink. Your heart skipping a beat isn't a glitch. It's a signature of a system so finely tuned, so responsive, so deeply wired into your emotional life that it reacts to shadows and imagined dangers and a phone ringing at 2 a.m. with the same urgency it would give to a lion in the grass. And maybe that's the most fascinating thing of all. The boundary between your body and your mind, when it comes to fear, is almost invisible. One thought and your heart changes, which raises a question worth thinking about. If your mind can disturb your heart that easily, how much control do you actually have over either one?